Hello, Cancer friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Cancer August 2024 Astrology Horoscope forecast. Another very exciting month with multiple factors that weave together the tapestry of our astrological experience. So I'm going to go into as many layers as I think you can take at once. This way we don't overwhelm you, but that I give you a nice rich picture of what the energies are like and what specifically it's like to be a Cancer at this time and how you can best use these energies. This is for you if Cancer is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cancer placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Cancer friend, so birthdays like July 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cancer degrees like 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Leo report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Okay, so I'll give you a quick summary about the things that are adding to my theme of the month for Cancer, which is take the reins for epic gains. We've got a ton of energy in Leo. Talk about what that means in general and what it is for you. We've got a ton of energy in Virgo, especially as the month progresses. We have Mercury retrogrades. We've got to look at everything through that lens. And we've got a blue moon, the second blue moon in a row, which is very unusual. And we have eclipse season, and that is a very big deal. So I'm going to talk about these things in the order that I just gave you, from the shorter term transits to the longer, deeper lasting themes, okay, so that we can build up to those bigger picture stories. But even in the short term, the taking the reins part is just as valid, and that will stretch for a long time to come. So when we have Leo time, which is this time every year, then this is a time for self-expression. It's a fire sign. And of course, being a water sign, fire puts heat under your watery pots. So that can get you going, either with excitement and motivation and inspiration, or with agitation and aggravation and, the desire to make changes because you're put out by something. And any which way, it's motivating and inspiring. And sometimes it's through nuisances, and sometimes it's through exciting things, and sometimes it's both. But you'll definitely be feeling that, as you do every time we have fire energies. So the sun, Venus, Mercury will go retrograde back into, and star goddess Vesta and the new moon are all in Leo. That's a tremendous amount of fire. Leo energy, I like to describe Leo energy as being, well, it is ruled by the sun. Leo is ruled by the sun. So it's like the energy that we feel when we're really excited about something. The way I feel it is like my cells are sunflowers lifting up to the sun. When you get excited about something, maybe your hair, goes up on your arms or your back, or, it's like that feeling of upliftment and excitement. That is the type of energy that Leo has. And so you may notice that. This is an energy that rules our pleasures and hobbies and fun and things we've always wanted to do, or things that we just love to do. It rules creativity, whether it's a creative baby, like a project, or whether it's an actual baby. So from the spark of true love into the conception of a baby, into the child rearing, the whole story of that creative cycle is ruled by Leo. So you may find that you're at different parts of that journey and things are moving along. This is definitely a very, heated romantic potential. So if you're in a relationship, there could be something that returns. If you're not and you're looking for someone, there may be a tilt to the past where someone comes back into your life. And this is as we look at things through the retrograde lens. Now, specifically for Cancer, I could have equally called the theme of this month something having to do with money, because all of that Leo energy that I just talked about is all in your second house of finances. Now, if you are a person that likes the visuals, at the end, I'm going to drop in me quickly going through and just pointing out on the chart everything that I discussed. So if you like the visuals, then hang on till the end and you'll get a segment there where I also sometimes think of other things I didn't tell you. But for now, I'll just describe them. So the second house is our house of finances, our earned income, our relationship with the material realm, budgeting and saving and spending and large ticket items. It could be our ecological imprint or connection to the earth rhythms. All of that is housed in the second house. Making things with our hands, sensual pleasures like things we take in through our senses. All of that is housed, like good food and good smells, and just that kind of cozy, comfort-driven security-based energy. So you've got a lot of fire there. And so you may be relishing in those material comforts or the earth or, wildlife comforts. And you may be making more money and you may be spending more money. There's just a focus on that area of your life, but it's zesty, it's fun, it's exciting. There could be a thing that happens where something costs you money and wow, okay, you don't want to spend money on, that could definitely happen. But, there is a sizzle here. There is an excitement. So if that's going on, there's probably still this other thing that you're spending money on or resources on, because this is a house of resources. It does turn out to sometimes be financial, but it doesn't have to be money based. It could be something else, like your neighbor brings you over a pie, something like that. So as the energies, okay, so before we leave there, the new moon is on August 4th. And so the days around there are a great time for seed planting in all things Leo and in all things Taurus, which rules the second house. So all these things that I just discussed, if you want new beginnings in those arenas, this is a great time to plant seeds and to make wishes based on what you would like to have, in these areas of life. Now, as the month moves on, the Sun and Venus will get into Virgo, and Mercury, which was already in Virgo, will retrograde back into Leo. So all month long, we've got some Leo representation, but there's a deepening story of more Leo towards the beginning and less, and more Virgo towards the end. So as the month progresses, it's like grounding out back into discipline, back into our basic routine. So you may spin out a little bit, and then you may get to be like, whoa, okay, I have to pull in the reins. And pulling in the reins is along the lines of taking the reins. Okay, so this topic of taking control of things in your life is a very big theme in the short term and the long term. And you will be noticing that, I'm sure. It could be in subtle ways, it could be in big ways, but you may take the reins by spending on stuff that you want to. You may take the reins by reining them in because you're overspending, but there's this cycle here of like pushing out and pulling back in and winding up back into discipline and focus in the mundane reality as the month moves on. If you need more focus or perseverance for something, you will have that energy, especially as the month rolls on from the Virgo placements. And we've got star goddess Estrella, star goddess Juno, the sun will get there, Venus will get there, a very big representation in Virgo. So this is a time that's great for editing, it's great for writing, not just because Mercury rules Virgo, but also because Mercury rules Gemini, which is the house that the Virgo placements go into for Cancer. So you've got a lot of mercurial energy at this time. That has to do with taking in information, researching, or learning. That has to do with putting out information, writing or speaking. That can, be in education, formal education, or just things you're interested in that you're researching about. This can also have to do with being busy and taking a lot of little trips. Of course, there's always the chance that you can take a very long distance trip, and we'll get to that when we get up to that blue moon, because that's going to be highlighted in that sector for you. But this polarity between short trips and far trips, between basic information and exalted inspirational information, basically the taking in and putting out of information, is a very, very big theme right now. So if you're trying to write something or put something together or do a project, you'll notice that your mind might be going there. So you get the inspiration with the Leo energy, and then you get the wherewithal to do it with the Virgo, which is a nice combination. Okay, so let's move to the full moon now. We have to do a little talk about blue moons, because if you've watched my reports, you've noticed that I was talking about a blue moon in July. Why then is there a blue moon now, right? That doesn't usually happen. It's true, it's rare. So that's why I'm making a big thing of it. And the only reason why it can happen is because we have different definitions of what a blue moon is. A blue moon can be the second full moon in a calendar month. The blue moon can be a second full moon in a calendar or in a zodiac sign, which is the July one. That second Capricorn full moon was the blue moon. And then there's the astronomical definition, a third blue moon out of 4 in the cycle that starts at summer solstice and ends at fall equinox. And that's called a seasonal blue moon. And that one is even more rare than the other definitions of the blue moon. So those are like 33 months. So almost every 3 years. Hence the saying, once in a blue moon. So that energy is coalescing in this this arena that has to do with Aquarius. And this has to do with groups and teams and internet-based things and social media and anything having to do with community-based projects, friendships, something where there's something for the greater good, a humanitarian effort, something like that. So this blue moon, this full moon, this coming to fruition, this fullness, completion, drama, better or worse, is in this energy of Aquarius. Now, before, when we were talking about the third house, I said that the blue moon was going to be in your ninth house. It's not the blue moon, it's actually the eclipse, but we'll get there. So I retract what I said there, and then we'll get back to the ninth house focus, because that is a big one, because we're in eclipse season now. The eclipses are in September and October. 4 to 6 weeks before the eclipses, which is all of August, is full on eclipse season, where we can see just as many manifestations as in the actual month that they happen. And that will be in the ninth house. So we'll get back over there. But this eclipse not only highlights the energy, this blue moon not only highlights the energy of Aquarius, it also highlights the energy of the eighth house. So something once in a blue moon of your shared resources, inheritances, legacy, capital investments, shared spousal money, family money, anything like that, winnings, sweepstakes, finding money, being gifted money, all of that is your eighth house. So when you have a blue moon in the eighth house, it's like there could be a once in a very rare opportunity to have one of those things happen. So you may notice that there's a lot of activity there. And you also may notice that, in the long term, there's a lot of activity there, because Pluto in recent years has been dancing at the cusp of your eighth house in Aquarius. And so this is bringing Pluto, the ruler of the eighth house, in for over 20 years as a focus on legacy and inheritances and death and other people's money. And, so that focus for you all is not going away after this blue moon, but because it's just Pluto will be there for decades. But it is bringing an extra bout of focus here at this time. Now, before we get to the eclipse energies, I want to talk a little bit about how the Mercury retrograde glasses have to be put on to look at everything that we're viewing. And I'll give you some dates on that. So July 17th, Mercury retrograde shadow period starts. That's the pre-retrograde kind of dive that we do. So every day after July 17th, we get deeper and deeper into the energies of Mercury retrograde. August 4th through August 28th, we're full on in retrograde. Then August 28th until September 12th, we're getting things back and regulated, and then we're clear. Now, we will wind up very soon having a Mars retrograde shadow period start into September, which I'll talk about more in that month. But, at least for our Mercury purposes, that is the cycle that we're looking at. So when Mercury is in retrograde, it's very hard to get a clear answer about something. So you may start getting information and news coming from the eclipses or from some of these other things that I've talked about already, but you might not know what to do with them. You might not know what they mean. You might not know what it's going to look like, but there's a sense of something happening. There's an event happening, but it's still going to leave you with a lot of questions. So if you have those questions and you know that you're going to have those questions, which is why I'm telling you, then it might feel a little bit better to know that over the coming months, these things will get answered, but you're very unlikely to have a clear view on what's happening right now. So it's very hard to schedule things. It's better to be in the moment. It's much better to wait for last minute magic than try to get a whole bunch of things going. If you have to schedule something, then just dot your I's and cross your T's, make extra careful sure about your plans, because this is the type of energy where you're waiting for your plane at a gate and all of a sudden you realize, oh gosh, it's at a completely, they changed the gate and it's across the airport kind of thing. I've had that happen in Mercury retrograde before, which is why I mentioned it. So, that kind of thing. So this is a time where you wait on the shore and you wait for things to come to you, because the tides are coming in. When the tides are coming in and you try to push a boat out on the water, it comes back to you. So that's what energy is happening at this time. The Leo energy will make you feisty and want to do things. And there are plenty of actions to be taken. Daily things that have to be done, things that have piled up that have to be done, just things where the squeaky wheel, is squeaking at you and you have to deal with it. All of those are great to do during the retrograde. What's not as great to do is try to force something out, try to give something a new, like a push that you want to go far and wide, because the tides will bring it back in. So that's what, it's a very internal retrospective type of energy where dipping to the past is going to be more fruitful than trying to project too much into the future. Short-term efforts, like if you do a new thing that's just an experiment or a low stakes thing, those are all great to do at this time. But you'll feel the energies of the inward and the backward. It's also a time to be the earthworm, where you go back over. Earthworms just push soil from their front to their back, just over and over and over again. And they make that soil super fine and fertile for new growth. So you're going to be the earthworm at this point. You're going to just go back over things, fine tooth comb, and that's the best way to use the energy. And then, of course, you're going to be the spider and wait for things to come to you in your web rather than going out and trying to conjure and make things happen. The Leo energy will make you want to make things happen, but the types of things that you have to try to make happen in order to be aligned with the energy are not as much the big stakes things. They're the small steps. They're the going back over things. They're the foundational things. They're the things that are right in front of you. Okay, so now let's talk about the eclipses. And this is a very big deal. So this theme of taking the reins in your life and having epic gains from that is, like I said, a short-term theme, partly brought upon by all of this Leo energy, partly by the fact that it's in the world of your finances, and there's going to be strong leadership that you need to take a role in your life there. Partly because the eclipse cycle is calling this in. Now, we're going through an Aries Libra eclipse cycle that started in early 2023 and goes into 2025. That is happening. Okay, that will happen with the October 2nd eclipse at 10 degrees of Libra. So this is the second to last part of that cycle. And the stories have been in process since early 2023. Me versus we, my independence versus, our together stuff, basically. Now, specifically for Cancers, this highlights your home and your work. So home versus work, you'll notice that since early 2023, you've been having a lot of shifts, or a lot of potential shifts, or topsy-turvy things, or things reshuffling around. So that's going to continue, and you may see something notable happen in the culmination of a relationship, the ending of a relationship, the coming to fulfillment of a relationship. Something is going to be happening. So again, although this is happening in October, we feel this months before, and you may see these storylines starting to weave in. So in the upcoming months, starting now, changes again in the home, changes again in the family, changes again at work. That's the storyline that's happening. And we've got kind of a big learning curve with that for you until, the middle of next year. Now, the new polarity that's coming through is the Pisces Virgo polarity. And this one starts now and goes into 2027. So we're going to be working with this one for a while. But this makes a trine for you. So Pisces, this Pisces eclipse, that's on September 17th at 25 degrees Pisces. This is the one that's happening in your ninth house. Okay. So when I was saying that your ninth house of international travel, long distance travel, broadening your horizons, new viewpoints, optimism, having a bird's eye view, having a bigger picture view, education, possibly going back to school, possibly, starting to teach if you are already educated highly in something that you want to share. This energy is not going away. So Cancer as the teacher, Cancer leading is happening. So taking the reins in your life through education, taking the reins in your life through, vaster viewpoints, through broadened horizons, all of that is happening. And this is happening in a trine for your placement. So that's an actual amazing blessing. And all of the Cancer placements can get that kiss. But those of you who are in the late degree, so pretty much the same people that I said, watch the Leo report. So like the 22 or so degrees and onward, the closer to around 27 degrees, the more, or actually the closer to 25 degrees. So we'll do 20 degrees to 29 degrees as your biggest hit rate or degrees. And then the closer to 25 degrees. So that's going to be like July 10th we'll say July 12th through around the 20, till the end, and then around July 17th or 18th for the closest direct kiss. But remember, if you're not in that zone, all of the blessings and potentials are still there. Also, if you don't know your chart, you may have something else connecting in there that you don't know about. So if you just know your sun sign, you're working with just one viewpoint, you can run a free birth chart online to see more about this, and then you can use the information I give you more. But yeah, that's happening. So this is basically a time to get back in the driver's seat of your life and to continue to make positive gains in the short term and the long term for wrestling in, aberrant things that are not working for you. Now, along those same lines, one of the things where you may have to rein in things may have to be with your emotional space. So if you find that the depth of your emotions are interfering with you doing the things that you need to do, there may be some like reining in of the expression of emotional energy in less helpful ways and more directing those things. Maybe meditation, maybe, therapy, or maybe journaling, or maybe, anything, basically writing a letter to someone before you have a conversation with them about something so that by the time you talk to them about it, you've gotten some of the charge off of it, that kind of thing. And that could be a very good idea. Okay, so if you are wanting to see the visuals, I'm about to pop those in, but before I have you go, I just want to let you know if you want to have more dates. We have so many nuisance aspects this month that I didn't have time to get into. We've got some beautiful aspects. So if you want my write-up of the sweet and salty dates, what to expect, my favorite dates of the month, etc., go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click receive, get my newsletter in your inbox. Hopefully it doesn't go to spam. You might have to move it. Click on the archive link, then put August 2024 astrology, and voila, you will have that. Now, if you are interested in learning astrology through the end of August, I think around the 28th or sooner if the slots close, I'm having a double blue moon promo where you register for my astrology certification course, and then you get every other course in my school for free. So it's a crazy promo. You can see it at anniehelpsyou.com, click on up level, and then go to the certification course, or you can go straight to beastropro.com, beastropro.com. Okay, so for those of you who wanted to stick around for the visuals, I'm going to pop those in now. Okay, so I'm just going to go through in order the things that I talked about, so you have the visual for that. Here is this Leo energy. The Sun, Vesta, Venus, Mercury will retrograde back here. This is your second house. The new moon on August 4th at 12 degrees of Leo is also there. There we go. And then as the energies move into Virgo, they are highlighting your third house, which is ruled by Gemini. Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. So this is a very mercurial type of energy, like we talked about. There's Pluto just in the 8th house forever. We talked about that. Now also the blue moon is going to be there on August 19th. The days are on August 19th. The 9th house and the 3rd house are going to be very strongly highlighted, not only now, but into 2027. This is taking in information and putting it out. You've got short-term energy talking about that. You've got the long-term energy through the eclipses. The Pisces eclipse in September 17th at 25 degrees, will be here in the 9th house. That will make a trine, the best aspect in astrology, with your Cancer placements. All of you can feel those goodies, but those of you who are later in the sign will get more of a notable action from there. I didn't talk about this, but now that I see it, I want to mention it. You've got a month more of Mars in your 12th house, and then a year of Jupiter in your 12th house. And that is very expansive to your intuition. That is expansive to your quiet, private place, the setting up of your sacred retreat place. And so this very much is going to be about creating and owning your own space, both in your home or in your energy field. So that's a extra long-term thing going on with Jupiter, but then very highlighted with Mars there this month. This can make you think a lot, so you might have to do more practices to help stay out of your head. And this time, short and long, is very much about taking the reins and having epic gains. If you want the dates that I told you about, the nuisance aspects, my favorite aspects, and more dates than I've already given you, then go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in. When you get the welcome email, hopefully it doesn't go to spam. If it does, move it to your inbox. Then you can just click onto the archive and then you can put August 2024 in there, and then you'll find that report. If you want to benefit from my double blue moon promo, where you register for my astrology certification course and you get all the rest of the courses in my school for free, go to beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.